This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
I'm Jamie Bloom, and today I'm visiting with historian Kevin Larson, who is an expert on the history of the Blue Valley, and especially the history of the fight against the building of the Tuttle Creek Dam that took place in the 1950s.
1955, the funding started again, and so things started up again. So everything had been put at a standstill. There were fences put up around what had been done at Tuttle Creek. The offices were boarded up and everything, and it looked like it was going to be to an end. And in that time period, the Blue Valley did raise money to make a film called The Tuttle Creek Story, and a lot of you have probably seen that movie, but it was an effort to try to tell people that, there's no need to build big dams. We can have small retaining dams, and they would have the same effect. You wouldn't have to destroy beautiful valleys, because eventually the valleys are going to get silted in, and they're going to be, their effectiveness won't be as good as it would have been.
Right.
But anyway, so the funding came in. So the Blue Valley people were discouraged, of course, but they decided that, maybe we could build public opinion for our site if we would just open our valley, let the people come in, walk through our churches, go through our homes, see what's going on. So in October of 55, they had an open house for a weekend, and they just invited people to come. And
did they have a good turnout for that?
Well, and I think they said they had around 5,000-6,000 people come out to view everything that was going on. And they had a guest book at the VFW building in Randolph, and there was people you could see from all over the country that had come in to view the valley. And they had set up different tours that you could take if you didn't want to drive it yourself. They had people who would drive you around in their cars. You could take an airplane flight up over the valley and see the valley from Manhattan to Blue Rapids. And they put out a big broadside that had all the historical sites that were there and what would be lost if the dam went in. So it was a great effort to try to do that, and they started to build up hope. So they hoped that by 1956 that they could run Howard Miller for Congress again, and if he could win, then maybe they could go through and stop this whole thing. So by 1956, quite a campaign to get Howard Miller back into the Congress, and that was a time that a group of us, myself included, went down to Topeka. We walked Kansas Avenue with placards saying to vote for Howard S. Miller, but in the end he lost. And after that defeat, it became pretty apparent that it wasn't going to have any success to stop it. So after that, it kind of became sort of okay, we're in this thing, what can we do? What can we get the best out of it? So by 1957, the work on the dam had pretty well progressed up to like Stockdale and on up into Garrison. So they were acquiring the land, tearing the buildings down, etc. The town of Randolph was more like in late 1960, early 1961, and that they acquired the land and started, tearing everything down to prepare for it. So it was quite...
What could individuals on farmsteads do, Kevin, if that, were there people that just flat refused to leave?
Well, they, basically most of them realized. The only one who who became quite famous for his refusal was a man by the name of Ort Weber, and he was one who was not going to give in. And of course, stories abound. Stories being told that when the appraisers would try to come on his land, he would come with a shotgun and make sure they didn't come on and stuff like that. But basically everybody, they can take it as long as they say they give you a fair market value. So a lot of people would not accept the first offer that they were given. They would take them to court and try to have a judge see that the land was worth more than what they were offering. And a lot of times they did get more, but a lot of them said, whatever we got extra pretty well went to pay for the lawyer fee that we were charged and stuff. But it was a lot of great remorse because there were families in the Blue River Valley that were the fourth generation living on that land, and it was very hard to give up that land and because they built up these beautiful homes, the land, and etc. And it was just hard to walk away from it. I always said from personal experience of knowing the people that went through that some people I knew really literally almost died twice. They died when they finally had to give up their home and move out of the valley, and then they had to go on and physically die.
Right.
It was just a very devastating happening for them to see their churches, everything just be able to be done away with and torn down.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.